midnight dream, damnest thing you've ever seen. I like the likes of her. Where do I get me one of those girls? A farmer's daughter, homecoming queen, likes to fight, what a sweet little thing. She can drink iced tea, throw back a shot. Now there ain't much going, that girl ain't got.
It's archery season in Kentucky, and we have a phenomenal weekend planned for Wildlife Women.
Bows and does, and a lot of us girls had an opportunity to get together and go to a friend's farm up in Bracken County and do a doe hunt.
I cannot wait for this weekend. There's so many fun things going on that I just can't even describe. My friend has an awesome farm, and he has so generously offered to let Wildlife Women use it and come up for a bows and does weekend.
Just being together and trading stories and being happy that we're together and enjoying our time together. In other words, you know, our girl talk and being able to share what we're going to be doing that weekend.
He's decided that he's going to let all our new hunters actually harvest an animal.
That's me.
Which surprised me, and we'll get to that part. But he's going to let all our girls who have not harvested a deer shoot a doe on his property. And we're all excited. And we even get there, and he throws in the fact that we're going to draw for a buck. So one of the girls is going to get this special buck that he and I have actually been watching on camera all season. And I just can't wait to have all the girls up. We're going to camp. We're going to hunt. We're going to have a great time, cook hopefully what we harvest. So it's going to be a great time. And out of the blue, we put the event on Facebook and invite all the girls to come up. I get a message from my sister who says,
I want to go.
I
want to go.
You want to, what? Do you know what we're doing?
Yeah, we're going deer hunting and I want to go.
This is coming from my sister, who I've begged for years to get out in the woods with me and never wanted to deer hunt, never wanted to do fishing, nothing, especially anything to do with frogs.
No frogs. No frogs.
I was just blown away and excited, and I was just overwhelmed. I didn't even know what to say. I was just like, okay. Well, we all get there. It's actually her first hunt. It's Michelle's first hunt. Melissa has been hunting a couple times at this point, and Tara and I both have been hunting. So we had a little bit of a mixture of experience level. We're all super excited and start going over the weekend and eating and having a blast and laughing and cutting up. And of course, we're going to camp. We're going to camp on his land. So we set up a tent, which took quite a while.
It took a long time to set these tents up. You just had to be here.
We're still not at that point of mastering setting up a tent.
No.
Mine's pretty easy. It's a pop-up, but I think, was it Tara's? I think had
Tara's
the one
tent, yeah.
with all the sticks that
The
were
rods
very
and-
difficult, so we just gave up
was
and put
bad.
one big one up and used it.
Actually, we never slept in the tents. We didn't make it. We slept in the house. No tents at that time for me. Didn't happen. I said, girls, I'm sleeping in the bedroom. Y'all can sleep in the tent if you want to. Not doing it. I might try deer hunting, but no camping yet.
But it was there, so it was practice. And then the girls actually, I think you were shooting a crossbow at this point. She hadn't even started with her compound yet. And we actually go outside in the yard and teach her how to shoot a crossbow, which she did very, very good. I was very, very proud of you. And
Thank
she was
you.
very successful at learning. And we took a couple hours and we're all just practicing our shot. Bo and I had decided to take the girls and divvy them up, and he was going to take one or two, and I was going to take one or two, and kind of guide them on their hunts. And then the one girl, of course, is going to get the chance to hunt for the buck.
The bad part about that, you had to climb a tree stand.
Yeah.
I was out, not doing that either. I didn't even put my name in the hat. Nope. Not happening.
So I think it was Melissa, Michelle, and Tara put their name in the hat first, because all of them were willing to get in a stand and kill from a stand.
All right, so we've got 3 of you that's going to go after the buck, right?
Yes.
All right, we're going to draw cards.
Okay.
See who gets the highest card. You want the highest card, lowest card, or the middle card? You all pick.
Highest card.
Highest card, all right.
clarify the Jack, Queen, King, Ace thing, because Ace
Ace
can
is
be
high.
low or high.
Ace is high.
Ace is high.
Ace is high. We got pictures
God,
of you all the way.
I'm nervous now. Oh
I
my God. I'm sick.
Y'all feel like you in Vegas?
pressure.
I'm sweating. I'm like sweating.
We need shots to do this
Oh
with.
my God. I can only imagine if whoever gets the book, how they would feel.
All right, pull them and don't show nobody.
Just pull it back.
You got it?
Yep.
On the count of 3, flip them. 1, 2.
We got told that there was a surprise in this and that one lucky lady was going to be drawn for a buck kill. So I was excited about that. A lot of people don't know. Yes, I've killed deer, but I've never killed a buck. I've just been looking for that nice mature buck and haven't found one. So of course for this Bows and Does event, for us to have an opportunity to shoot a buck, I was very excited.
3.
I want a picture.
There you go.
I never got a buck. I've got dogs, but I never got a buck. I'm a meanness. Okay, I gotta go top my crossbow in.
You're so funny.
Oh my God, I'm tore all to pieces. I'm sorry I beat you up, and I'm
No.
Oh my God, look at you. I'm a mess. Oh God, I'm sick.
We'll have to call the EMT to carry her out. She shoots it.
Lord have mercy.
So I'm thrilled. And he had named this one certain buck. It was one certain buck that we could only take. And his name was Wildlife Women Donation. So of course, as soon as he said his name was Wildlife Women Donation, he got turned by me, WWD. So I was excited because that evening I was going to get to go after WWD.
Opening day is a finish line to a race that started months prior. A race consisting of dedication, determination, and preparation, resulting in blood, sweat, and anticipation. So when that moment of opportunity presents itself, you can draw peacefully, knowing your time, energy, and preparation started with Rackology. Everything you need, all in one bag.
Hey, it's James Sam, Kentucky Bugle Struts Outfitter. This is Brandon Thomas. We're the co-owners here at Kentucky Bugles and Struts. It's that time of year again. When it's a beautiful day here on one of our private properties we've got to hunt. It's probably got about 75,000 acres on it. And if you got the chance to hunt Kentucky elk this fall, woo! Man, are we excited. Give us a chance, give us a call. Talk to Brandon at 606-634-7640. He does all our booking. He does an outstanding job. Good luck. We hope to see you. But man, we're ready to make friends for life.
Tucked in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, perfect for a quiet weekend getaway or a fun-filled group adventure, visit us at Big Branch Cabins. Bring your ATV for some beautiful, scenic mountain riding. Our small cabin sleeps up to 4 people, and the big cabin sleeps up to 10, with another cabin coming soon. So bring the entire family. There's tons of parking and plenty of room to enjoy the outdoors. Cook out, play cornhole, hike, fish, or simply relax. Come visit us at Big Branch Cabin Rentals, nestled in the heart of Knott County.
Shoot like a boss.
we all get ready. We're all excited. We get all of our camo on. We're getting our cameras ready. Everybody, I'm just so excited because I'm thinking I'm finally going to get my buck. I'm finally going to get my buck.
We're heading out for our first evening hunt, and I get to take Michelle and my sister, and we have decided that Michelle's going to get the first shot at a doe if we see one. Hopefully we're going to. And Misty will take the second turn.
Yes, I took the second turn, so I was filming the whole first turn, so that way if Michelle got her doe, that we had it on camera for her.
Yeah. Hey guys, we are out here in the woods up in Bracken County, and it is Michelle's first hunt ever, and my sister Misty. It's her first outdoor anything ever, and so we're pretty excited. We got in a little early just so we could talk to you guys and tell you what's going on. So we're all three in the blind together, and we're doing an archery doe hunt. This is my first time guiding, so it's a lot of firsts in one afternoon, so hopefully we're going to make this happen. So I just hope and pray that the does come in and the deers come in and everything works in our favor. We came up and looked at the corn pile we've had out, and it's completely gone bare to the ground. So they've been in here, which is a great sign, and we're hoping that they just keep on coming and we get 2, maybe 3 big fat does this evening. Michelle and I met not long ago actually, and we just hit it off, and she was not an outdoors girl either. She joined and then took on chapter leader, and I just love her dearly, and I was so excited to guide her. Her husband's a hunter actually, and he told me that she has to get her first deer with me. So that is very special, and I'm just feeling a little bit of pressure though. But I really want to do that for Michelle. I really want her to be able to get a deer. So we decide that since Misty was the last minute unexpected sign up,
I would do the filming and sit back.
and was my sister, so may get a few more chances to come up, that we would let Michelle have the first dibs.
Yeah.
This one stays on her phone more than anybody else. I learned from the best. Alright, we gotta hurry and be quiet, so let's get this over with. Hey guys, it's Misty. First time ever anything. I'm Bridget's sister, and really excited to do this and everything I've done today. So let's see what happens. Here we go.
Michelle did amazing. We got out there, and once we got into the blinds, of course we had our few moments of laughing and cutting up, but no, the hardest thing was sitting there so quiet with us, and because we were all crammed in this blind, all 3 of us was. So I got in the back and had the cameras rolling on Michelle the whole time, and it was a great evening. Even though we didn't get to see anything that evening, it was amazing. But there's always the next day that Michelle gets, and we just had a blast.
We did.
We had so much fun out in the blind that evening. It was hot, very hot, and we was out there how many hours?
Oh, it was a long time.
It
I don't know.
was forever.
Probably 4 hours, maybe.
Yeah. That was the first time I'd ever sat that long without using the bathroom. It was horrible.
Or being quiet.
Horrible. And to be quiet, so.
Although I can't say that happened, because there was a couple times I was giving her the finger, like, Mom, no. Shh, stop.
She looked at me one time and was going, shut. It's hard for me. I'm sorry. It's just hard for me to be quiet. Anybody that knows me can attest to that. It's hard for me to keep my mouth shut.
I was proud of her, but I gave her a little pep talk at the end. But I have to say that they did good all in all, especially with 3 people in the blind. I've got an awesome baronet blind that is huge, so we were all pretty comfortable in there. And I just loved it that we were spending that time together, and they were learning together, and I was extremely proud of Michelle, because you can tell her husband was military, because she sat there like a
champ. I'm telling you,
like a toy soldier.
She said nothing.
I was really proud of her, and
I'm back there like this right here, trying to move, going, oh God, it's hurting me.
This is hurting. That's hurting.
I'm stretching my legs out. Keep in mind, I'm, a decent sized girl sitting on a seat that big. It don't work.
We head out, and I have to go with our friend and hunt because it's his property, and he has to let me know which one is WWD for sure because there's quite a few buck on there. And we get to the property, and lo and behold, we have to climb about 30 feet up in a tree stand. Now, let me tell you, I've never hunted out of a tree stand before in my life. I've always either hunted in a blind or hunted on the ground around a tree or behind a tree or what have you. So for me to climb up in a tree stand for the first time and to do a hunt was kind of scary but thrilling, and I was willing to do it. So we climb up this tree stand, and I had to take my crossbow with me this time, which happened to be that weekend of crossbow season, opening crossbow season. While practicing with my compound bow earlier that afternoon, my string broke. And that kind of hurt. And there wasn't no fixing that within a couple of hours, of course. So luckily, thank God, I brought my crossbow to Bracken County. And I'm climbing up this tree stand with this crossbow on my back, get up in this tree stand, and I sit down. And I'm thinking, oh boy, this is going to be something. Sit up there, our friend gets up there and he's like, are you ready? And I'm like, yeah. And he says, okay, let's wait and see what comes in. He said, because this is WWD's spot. We hadn't been there long. I would say about 40 minutes, maybe even not that long. And down walks a nice doe. And I'm looked at him, and he looks at me, and he goes, well, you got 2 tags. You can take a doe. He said, you going to? And I said, oh, yeah. I need some meat for the freezer. So she comes down. She has no clue we're there, thank God. She walks up to this close enough, probably about 30 yards out, and there's a salt block there. So I've got my crossbow up, and I'm getting my scope and get her in my scope from the crosshairs, and I look and I've got a good shot. I pull the trigger and the bolt releases, goes straight through her, good shot right behind the front leg. She turns as it hit her, and she takes off up a hill that's next to us, about 40 yards up she goes, and then she just drops and rolls down the hill a little bit, and she's down. So I'm ecstatic, I'm excited. I hadn't got a deer in a couple of years because of family sickness or because of things going on, and I've now got meat for the freezer. And I remember turning to our friend and going, "Fill in the freezer, baby." I was so excited. Couldn't believe I'd done that. And I mean, I could believe I'd done it, but it was so exciting because after a couple of years, I finally got it. Got my doe loaded up and got her back to where we were camping and staying, and got her gutted and got her quartered up and put into my cooler so I could bring her home.
The X-Stand brand stands for something. It's something you can't put a price tag on, and it sets them apart from the rest of the industry. It was built from the ground up with a genuine work ethic that doesn't cut corners. X-Stand products are world-class and use hunt-safe technologies to go above and beyond normal safety standards. Just like the revolutionary technology of the Jaw safety system, X-Stand products stand for safety and quality. X-Stand. Simply smarter, simply safer.
Thornsberry, the owner and guide of Beaver Creek Outfitters in beautiful Knott County, Kentucky, the elk capital of the East. If you were lucky and you drew a tag to come hunt in Kentucky, give us a call at 606-369-6594. Let Justin, Ross, Brad, or myself help you fill your tag of a lifetime.
We're all sitting there, and it, even though we're not getting a lot of stuff come in like normal in this spot, finally a couple does do start coming in, and I can see them, but the girls can't see them yet. The way we were all sitting in the blind, we had different angles that we could see. So I'm telling them, be quiet, get ready, here they come. I was glad they did, because not long before that we did have a little bit of a giggle session. and they did, a deer comes in, a doe walks in, and it's a decent shot, but the wind is really picking up, and Michelle draws back, and I tell her, just breathe and take the shot. And she did, and just barely missed. I was so proud that she even got the shot off.
It was a good shot because
Yeah.
she was so calm. I would have been like, oh my God. But no, she was so calm. I mean,
She was.
like a champ, like we said, I mean, she drew back and just breathed and let it go.
Yeah, I was hoping and praying that I could have got her a deer her first time out, but I told her not to. It happens to all of us. We've all missed big bucks, we've all missed easy shots, we've all missed hard shots. But this was a great shot, and she did a great job. She was calm, did everything right. I think the wind just carried it a little bit. But to be able to see a deer and get a shot off her very first time out in the woods, we're going to chalk that up as success.
It was amazing. It was.
Now it's Misty's turn to be the front runner in the blind. So she's going to get the shot if we see any deer come in.
And she still had to tell me, you have got to be quieter. You did okay, but you've got to be quieter. And, it's just so hard. But, do what I got to do.
It's the next morning. The weather has drastically changed. It's freezing cold. I've never seen the weather change so dramatically in that short a time span. And she is done really good coming in. I've actually had her up before daylight, walking in the dark through pastures and fields that
Scared of the dark.
that she's a little bit scared, having her little red light. So I was trying to teach them, not to bright light over in the fields.
Yeah.
And, it's still about being quiet, not jumping them. And we did hear a few going in the dark.
The funny part is, though, can you remember when I looked to go Bridget, there's eyes looking at me and it was a horse. It was so scary because I thought there was something looking at me. It was a horse.
That's true.
I forgot about
My
that.
friend has horses, so we had to walk through where he keeps the horses to get down to the farm where we're going to hunt.
I was scared.
I forgot about that too. But we made it.
Yeah.
The horse monster did not capture us.
No, but
we
did
got
make
in the
it.
blind in the dark, which was another first for her and Michelle.
Yeah.
And we did good. We just rearranged where she actually was on her first hunt instead of filming. It was going to be her turn to get a shot.
It was the most amazing experience to be able to go in. Like I said, I am afraid of the dark, so it was total black, total quiet. You could hear nothing. And there we sat for a couple hours like that, and it was difficult. But when, it started, it was breaking, the morning was breaking, and it was one of the most beautiful creations that you could tell that God had ever made. It was just awesome to see the animals and to hear the animals, not see them at that time because it was still a little bit dark, but just to hear the birds and everything. It was quite an experience to see the creation that God has made. It was awesome.
And I was really glad they got to see it. I know I've told them about it, and how even if you don't kill an animal, that the experience is well worth it. It's well worth sitting there. It's just to see everything come alive in the morning and see the fog lifting. And actually, I think at one point it started snowing on us.
It did.
It was just the weather changing and seeing how everything interacts, and the animals are chirping and singing and making all these noises. And it was a beautiful morning. It was just beautiful. Really, really cold. You did much better that morning about being quiet.
Thank you.
And we just had a great time. The three of us together had a great time and bonded. Unfortunately, we seen nothing.
There was
nothing
morning. That morning. The deer was cold.
Yeah, and
the
only thing we could guess is the weather pattern.
It had to have been.
I'm telling y'all, I was shocked because this spot, we've watched it for a long time. This spot really holds a lot of deer, and I thought we were actually going to get both of them a deer by now.
But it was all good because just the experience, just to be able to get my first hunt under my belt, the experience of it was so worth it. It was well worth to be able to go out and just to sit. And even though we didn't see a deer that morning, I was so eager to go do it again.
Here's normal internet speed. Here's the broadband difference. Average speed, broadband. Not enough speed, broadband speed. With broadband from Thacker Grigsby Communications, everything's different. Video streams with no buffering. Music and photos fly. Gaming gets real. And nobody's left hanging. Experience the broadband difference. Contact Thacker Grigsby Communications and TVS Cable today.
So everybody is taking turns doing different things. I know Melissa, we drew again for the buck. Melissa got it again.
She got it twice, that is right.
Yeah, she did. She drew twice, so she got 2 chances at WWD.
I was tickled, and I was ready. I was on my game. I was going to get up that next morning, get out there, and Mr. WWD was going to be mine. So we ended up going to bed that night. I get up early the next morning. And as soon as we hit outside, the wind was horrid. It was awful, but we was going to try it anyway. I was going to be Miss Tough Melissa and say, yeah, I'm okay. And the whole time I've got my eyes closed while I'm sitting there and in this tree stand. And we are waiting, and we are waiting, and we are waiting. And nothing ever showed up, not one deer. We sat there for hours waiting. And a few times I would have to grab like the front of the bar on the tree stand and just close my eyes because the wind was so bad, so bad. I don't know that I could ever climb up in a tree stand with it like that again, honestly. But we never saw a deer again that afternoon, and we ended up climbing down because we were tired. The wind was pretty harsh, and we were hungry. So we decided to go back to camp and try to gather our thoughts and figure out what we needed to do. And once we got back to camp, I realized what time it was. It was up in the afternoon, and I had a good 5-hour drive back home. And I had to be at work the next day. So I packed my stuff up and left. Left the girls there. There was a couple that was going to stay, I think that evening, that night, because they still wanted to try to get them a deer, and I was hoping they would. And I think later on that night, I get a text, and Tara and Bridget is texting me a picture, because Tara got drawn once I left for Mr. WWD. And she got to go out, and she ended up taking a deer. It wasn't WWD, but he was a nice deer. He was a good mature deer. And so she ended up getting her a buck that evening. So I was tickled for him. I was happy. And I got to go back home in one piece because the wind didn't blow me out of that tree.
So the weekend was full of all of us just changing places, and the girls alternating with me and with Bo and who was in the tree stand, and we drew several times at who was going to get opportunities with WWD. Melissa drew twice.
She did. She got it twice. And that was just the craziest thing ever for her name to come out twice, back to back twice.
Back to back twice. And then not only that, she had just won some things off the Instagram or something. So we were just
trying to go play the
teasing
lottery.
her that she needed to play the lottery because she drew twice. And then Tara drew. She drew her opportunity at WWD. And by this time, we've all got the fever so bad. We've all been in the blind. Most of them have been in the tree stand. You didn't do a tree stand that weekend.
I thought about it, but I thought, nah, not worth it.
Most of them have been in the tree stand. Michelle, Melissa, and Tara, all three actually had been in a tree stand and was hunting for them. I stuck with God and the girls in the blind because I wasn't at that point.
She had to stick with the newbie, me. Sorry.
Yeah, but I will also say I wasn't at that point ready to guide anybody in a tree stand because I couldn't calm my own self down. So that still had to be some progression, and it is still a work in progress. Actually, I won't lie.
We'll get there.
But anyway, everybody was just having a great time, and we would go on our hunts, and then come back and tell our stories and share it and encourage each other and laugh, and I could just see it in everybody's faces that every girl was becoming a hunter. And to me, that was just total success if nobody killed anything, because that's what we're set out to do is educate and encourage and inspire these ladies and to get out and enjoy the outdoors and pass it on to their family and feed your family and live off the land. And it was great for me to look at them and say, I can see in their eyes that they're loving it and they're learning from each other. And I'm learning, even though they were new at it, and I've been hunting for several years. So it was just a great weekend. And the weather is changing again. And we're going to try it. We're here. We don't want to waste the time. So the wind has picked up to where it is
the Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz. I'm watching for Toto in the air. I mean, it is
bad.
Crazy bad. Crazy bad. And we're attempting to do the blind.
We moved and the blind around, and we're holding the blind down. The wind is like it's swirling. And of course, we're sitting there and I'm taking a peek outside, just watch for the tornadoes to go by at any moment, because it was horrible. I mean, we had the blind staked down. We were in a great location. I mean, but no, it wasn't happening.
There was a fantastic deer path where we had first set the blind, and I knew that they came out every evening in this field. We sat right up to where they should have walked, right in front of us, and it would have been perfect. The blind was tucked back into the trees, and everything I thought was great.
I would have had a great shot if the deer would have came in the path.
Like they were supposed to. I mean, they didn't get the memo.
No, they forgot that day.
But the wind is so bad, and this is no joke. She said we were holding the blind down. We literally were holding the blind down, trying to stay warm. It's cold, and
freezing. Just
look at each other every time a gust would come, because we could feel it, and it felt like almost like we were in a parachute.
I had one side, she had the other.
And we'd peek out, and I'm sitting there thinking, this weekend is almost over. I've got to make a move. And I look at her and I say, you trust me? And she's like, yeah.
I had to think about that for a second. I was like, yeah.
I'm like, I have one more idea. We've moved the blind. They usually come right here. I know where they're at. It's getting dark. We've only got very little time left.
She's like, I just know. I feel it. There's one right up there. It's up there. We just can't see it. It's not coming down.
Yeah, because we were a little bit below the field, and I knew they came out in the field. Then we were down a little bit in the valley, and I couldn't see the top of the hill. So I'm like, we have got to get out of this blind and maneuver up to the top of that hill. But the only way we can do this is crawl.
I looked at her and said, "Are you crazy? I just had injections in my knees. Are you crazy?" But
we got to.
We had to try it. We
and
had
we
to
can't.
go.
It's the time of day that I know they're everywhere, and I know they're going to hear us. I'm like, we cannot unzip the zipper. They'll hear it. We can't walk, so we had to put on our best
belly crawl,
snake slithering moves.
And it was a good distance. It was one of those things. I'm glad I went to the gym, and I'm glad I've worked out for the past little bit, because I wouldn't have made it.
I was so proud of her for trying it, and it was actually a great idea. Had we started about 10, maybe 15 minutes earlier, we would have got a shot.
We would have.
So we're going up this hill, and I'm trying to tell her about putting the crossbow out, how to get on her arms, not to raise her butt up, don't look up. Needless to say, I think I
did pretty good.
You did good. And I'm looking around for everybody else because I don't want to be shot.
She's like, keep your head down.
Keep your head down.
So here I am.
Keep your orange showing.
My head's down. My arms. I got my crossbow. And them crossbows are heavy.
Yes.
I mean, they're really, really heavy. It was one of the most awkward things
I'm
I've
trying
ever
to film
done.
it.
So here I am. I'm crawling up his hill, my knees, and I'm keeping everything down. And I hear, keep your head down. So I duck down, and I'm still crawling up the hill. It was.
But we make it to the top with enough shooting light. We could have shot. And there's nothing directly in front of us, but to the left and probably 150 yards.
There they were. Beautiful.
If we had just got up there a little earlier, we could have slid down and probably made a great shot. But I told her, I'm like, I knew they're there. I knew they were there. Let's go. And
she knew. She was there.
They didn't hear us. They didn't see us. They didn't smell us. And we were,
too late.
Just a little bit too late.
Not much.
But as I told them again, we made it with all those elements against us. The cold, the weather, the losing light, the last day we were going to be there, and we seen deer. So to me, that was pretty cool. I was glad that she got to see that my crazy thought pattern had a plan and would work. I was a little skeptical, but anyway,
but it worked.
It worked.
She knew what she was talking about.
And hopefully that someday we'll be able to get you a deer someday soon.
I will get a deer this season, even if it's from a tree stand.
She may beat me.
That's my plans, to outdo her, just for one time in my life.
You already have. She's accomplished more in what little bit of time she's been with Wildlife Women than I have in 10 years. I'm just really proud of what she's done.
This was my first ever Wildlife Women event hunting. When I told my husband that I was going to go hunting, he looked at me and said, "You're going to do what?" I said, "Yes."
That's kind of my same reaction.
Yeah, I think I want to go hunting. He said, "What are you talking about?" So I texted Bridget. I told her, I said, "Sis, I think I want to come." Because I put, going on the event. And we're texting back and forth. And she's like, You're what? I said, "I want to go." She went, "You really want to come?" I said, "Yes, I really want to come." So that's how it all happened. It was with me just deciding just to spur the moment. Like we said earlier, I've had a lot of health issues, and I thought, well, I might as well enjoy it while I can. And, I wanted to go, at least try to go deer hunting before, whatever was going to happen. But, we're good. We're all good on this one. But I really enjoyed myself. It was one of the most amazing experiences that I'd ever had, and getting to do it with my sister was the best part of it, because she's been hunting for years, and I've admired that because I always thought she was the girly girl of the family. And
not so much.
No, she's not. She's not so much. And I'm proud of her also for that, because she has overcome things that I would never thought that you would have overcome. Sticking your hand in a deer. No, I've not got there yet, but we'll get there. But I just want to let you guys know that it was awesome, and it was so beautiful, and to see the deer and this nature the way that it was amazing, and to be able to have fun with the girls and to hang out and to sit around a campfire and just share stories of what we fire. You hear me? I can't fire.
What's wrong with that? You didn't
fire.
say fire?
It's supposed to be a campfire, not fire. we sat around the campfire and enjoyed each other's company and was just goofing off and loving it. You know, I met Michelle for the first time, which is an amazing lady. I loved her dearly. We just connected right off the bat. But, you know, it was just a great weekend. No, the weather was not good.
Not
we
at
went
all.
from hot to cold and windy. And, you know,
To Oz.
Toto flying through the air.
So the new name of that event is Hades to Oz.
Hades to
It's
Oz.
not. It's not.
It's not bows and does. It's Hades to Oz.
Oz.
But, you know, it's the way it is. And I guess being the huntress that I am,
You toughed through it all.
that I toughed through it and I made it through it. And I just, you know, I want to thank Wildlife Women and you for putting this group together. I love you.
I love you.
That's a wrap.
See you next time.
Bye.
Tucked in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, perfect for a quiet weekend getaway or a fun-filled group adventure, visit us at Big Branch Cabins. Bring your ATV for some beautiful, scenic mountain riding. Our small cabin sleeps up to 4 people, and the big cabin sleeps up to 10, with another cabin coming soon. So bring the entire family. There's tons of parking and plenty of room to enjoy the outdoors. Cook out, play cornhole, hike, fish, or simply relax. Come visit us at Big Branch Cabin Rentals, nestled in the heart of Knott County.
Shoot like a boss.
So my friend has allowed me to hunt on his property this year, and I'm so excited because I've actually been part of the process early before the season even started. So we've been putting out corn and attractants and logging deer and watching cameras for quite a while now, and it's almost time for archery season to open. I cannot wait because y'all, these cameras are ridiculous. I have never seen deer this big. I'm so blessed that he's allowing me to hunt with him on this property. Of course, there are a few I'm not allowed to shoot, and those I could completely understand that he wouldn't allow me to have if they come out in front of me. Unfortunately, I did confess that my eyesight was not that good, and I would not be held responsible if I did shoot one I'm not supposed to. But needless to say, it was just a great experience kind of watching all the different deer come in the different spots. I think we were managing, 5 or 6 different areas, and they all had their properties that made them beautiful or the reason why that we were there, or so many deer were coming from this way and that way. I'd hunted by myself before and managed several different areas on a couple other pieces of property. So I'd put out corn and watched my camera, but never really tried to maintain this many places or pattern the deer in this many places and try to figure out which ones are at what spot. But I was just really thrilled to learn how to do that and to categorize deer and keep learning their way of life, which was really interesting to me. And the place that I wanted to hunt the most, of course, was from my blind. I've been a blind hunter for years, and I'm most comfortable there. And just so happened, 2 of the biggest deer that we were seeing on camera was coming into this spot. So I was really excited, and several days in a row they had the same pattern. We just kept watching and watching and watching, and I cannot wait to get out there when it's time and just try and get one of these big deer. One of the really cool things that we did was name the deer, and I was so excited about that because I hadn't done this before, and I've now made it one of the things that I look forward to every season. Just take some of their characteristics and maybe try and decide some kind of cool little name for the deer to come in. And we had several different ones that we're watching on camera. The first one was Freak. And if y'all saw a picture of this deer, you'd know why. I bet that thing had 20-some points. And we had several pictures of it in velvet. Unfortunately, we never really got to see it. And someone down the road actually benefited from him going onto their farm. But there was Touchdown, who had a really, really, really wide rack. And it reminded us of a field goal. And that was another one that was off limits for me. And the third biggest one was the one I've got my eye on, and its name is Knothead. You will see why. This deer had 16 points, and it was absolutely beautiful, but the brow tines were just covered in all these little stickers and knots, and that's where he got his name. So my whole entire season is revolving around I want Knothead on my wall and in my freezer. I've never seen a deer this big. I've been blessed to kill a couple bucks, and my second buck was actually very tall but not very wide, and I was super excited to have him, and he's been my prized possession for years. So a deer this big is just not something I ever thought I'd even be able to shoot or even see in the woods. And I just cannot wait to see if this deer is going to walk out and give me a shot. I'm blessed to have a friend that's letting me hunt on his property. He has acres and acres and acres of land that the deer are just beautiful. He manages it well, feeds them well, and I'm just really, really excited to have this opportunity. I didn't have to go travel very far. I didn't have to go to an outfitter or a preserve. I was able to hunt in the wild and without a fence and to be able to see these kind of deer. And I just, I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, every one I seen on camera, I could just remember it felt like a gut punch. Every single time we would see it was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I mean, they just kept getting bigger and bigger. We had pictures of 4 and 5 bucks together, in one shot, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was just so amazed that deer get this big. I'm used to hunting in eastern Kentucky where we have an abundance of does, but very rarely did I ever come across a big buck.
I'm Tina Thornsberry, the owner and guide of Beaver Creek Outfitters in beautiful Knott County, Kentucky, the elk capital of the East. If you were lucky and you drew a tag to come hunt in Kentucky, give us a call at 606-369-6594. Let Justin, Ross, Brad, or myself help you fill your tag of a lifetime.
Our first opportunity out, I am so excited. I didn't sleep at all. Just could not wait to get out there in that blind and pray that knothead comes out. And I'm just, I don't know, I'm beside myself, I guess, because I'd never had an opportunity to kill an animal this big, of this stature. And my mentality is meat in the freezer, and that's the first thing and the foremost reason I hunt is to actually fill my freezer and to have the meat. But now I've decided that I do like hunting. I'm trying to be a little more understanding, I guess, of not shooting really young deer, letting them grow, especially if I still have meat in the freezer. That, of course, will change if I don't have any. But I'm at the spot now that I do have a little bit of meat. I can wait out just a little while for a bigger, more mature buck. And I'm just ready. I'm ready. I'm nervous. My heart is pounding. My breathing's crazy. I'm freezing. Just mainly from nerves. I mean, I'm just sitting there experiencing all kinds of crazy different emotions and hoping and praying that I can make this happen. So we go in the dark. We're all set up and daylight's starting to peak. And we have several does come in. And I'm even tempted to take a doe at this point, but I'm trying to hold out because we've been watching this camera. We know that knothead's been coming in there, and so has a couple other really good bucks. And I'm trying my best to wait it out a little bit. A couple does come right beside the blind. They walk right up to the right-hand side of me, and she's a little bit skeptical, but not much. She still blows just a little and then goes on out to the feed and eats. And then a couple more come from another side, and then a couple really nice bucks come in. And I'm sitting there, and I look over at my friend, and I'm like, I think I want this buck. And he's like, no, don't shoot yet. Give it time. We've been patterning these deer. We know he may come in. He usually comes in right after this one. I'm like, but I want this deer. And I'm so scared because, I've had many opportunities in the woods that I've not taken a shot and not got another one all season. So I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? This is new for me to pass. But I did, and I wouldn't have if I'd been alone. I hate to say that, but I would have shot that first buck. It was a good size. And anyway, they're eating and they leave. And we see up against the tree line more deer coming in. So there's so much activity this morning that it's really hard for me to contain myself. And Bo keeps petting me on the knee saying, just wait, be patient. And I'm like, if that buck comes back in, I'm taking the shot. Okay. But thank God it came back in, but right behind him, here comes Knothead. Unfortunately, or maybe I should say thank God, I couldn't see him yet. And Bo was trying to tell me, he's coming, he's skirting around the back, I can see him. And we're in a blind, and of course, I love my blind. This blind is fantastic, but there's certain spots in it that the strip would block my view or his view, depending on between the windows, but depending on where we were sitting. I couldn't see him. And actually, it was a great thing if I think about it, because I could keep myself calm. If I'd have seen him, I might have just lost it all. But I was pretty calm when he came in, and he skirted all around the perimeter and then came in from the other side. He could tell we were there, I think, because he kept kind of looking and looking up and looking down, looking up. My vision is still not that great. I see a body, but I don't see the rack. Again, thank you, Jesus, because I definitely would have had bug fever and probably lost it. And I look over at Bo and I'm like, that's a doe. And he says, you're crazy. Just wait. You can't see it. And I'm like, that's a doe. And he goes, trust me, he's getting close. You need to draw. I still do not have this buck in my sight. It didn't take long. I go ahead and get position, and as I'm starting to draw, I can see the rack now. I knew it had a huge body and I was willing to take it, but I seen, yes, that is not head. And one of the best pieces of advice someone told me is take your eye off the rack. Once you see it, don't look at it again, because it will totally freak you out. And that is the truth. And I did that. I took some deep breaths. I felt my heart starting to pound. I felt my breathing getting a little more rapid and shallow. And just like even now talking about it, I can feel it coming back. But I was just trying to stay calm and take my eye off of that rack and put my sights right on that kill zone.
You got it.
Opening day is a finish line to a race that started months prior. A race consisting of dedication, determination, and preparation, resulting in blood, sweat, and anticipation. So when that moment of opportunity presents itself, you can draw peacefully, knowing your time, energy, and preparation started with Rackology. Everything you need, all in one bag.
That was the best feeling in the world. He dropped right there, and I've never had that happen. I've never dropped a buck. It's been an all-day process of trying to find one, but he dropped right there. And he actually did get up and try to run off, but it wasn't very far. And I just said, thank you, Jesus. I could not believe I had made that shot. And we celebrated and celebrated and celebrated. And I cried and I couldn't breathe and I felt like I needed to blow in a paper bag. I was hyperventilating. But it was probably the best hunting experience I've ever had in my life. I don't know that I'll ever top this deer, but I am ecstatic at this moment. I couldn't wait to get out of the blind and see him, but we had to give him some time and sit there, and that was probably the hardest thing to do. So I'm sitting there and trying to bide my time, and all I could think of is I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I cannot wait to tell my family, and the first thing I do when I get out is call my daughter.
Maybe I got it together. It's big. I don't know it's dying right now. It just dropped my hands. Bo says he thinks it's how many points?
It's 15 points.
15.
So I get out of the blind and we're trying to film everything. So before I get up to the animal, he's wanting me to talk about being in the blind and talk about the hunt, and I can't stand it. I'm just, okay, this, and this, and I gotta go see this deer. So I just shot a huge buck out of my bayonet blind, and I've had these blinds for several years, and they are just amazing. Everything was perfect. We managed to get the windows in the right angle so that we were hidden, plus could get a great shot, and then was able to change it up at the way the deers were coming in to make sure that I got the right angle. I had to shoot sitting down, which is not something I normally do, and all the options in this blind was just so cool that I was able to make it happen. So bayonet blinds all the way, my 15 point out of my bayonet blind. And I cannot wait any longer. And he's like, well, wait. No, I gotta go. I gotta get to this deer. I gotta see it. And I get up there and we're walking up on it, and emotions just take over. And I don't know about you guys, but I cry almost every single time I kill an animal. It is unbelievable. It's like a welcomed panic attack. I mean, your body is going crazy, and it's the best feeling in the world. I can't imagine somebody going through life and not feeling what it feels like to harvest an animal out in the woods. And I don't know, you'll see. I mean, I lose my mind a little bit, and I'm so thankful that the Lord blessed me with this animal. It is one of the first things I do is thank Him for giving me the opportunity to have land, have the ability, have the education to even know how to do this. So I'm just so excited, and I can't wait to get my hands on Knothead.
Hey y'all, so it's probably been a little while after I made the shot and the kill, and I'm still so excited. So Bo went back to get the quad runner to come get the animal so we can get him out of here and get him cleaned up, and I'm not leaving him. He says, come on, go with me. And I was like, no way, I'm not leaving this animal in the woods for someone to steal, because I'm so excited right now, I can't stand it. So we've been watching him on the trail camera for a while, and we've been putting out some corn mixed with peanuts and putting a little bit of Lee and Tiffany's Crush sugar beets. I'm telling you guys, that is the tool. Those animals cannot resist that. He actually was a little spooked when he came in, and he watched us and stomped around a little bit, but he just could not resist the sugar beets, so he kept coming back and getting a bite or two, and thank God gave me the shot. So we thought on the camera that he was a 15 point, but come to find out he's 16. So I'll give you a little bit of closer shot of that. He is amazing. All these points on him, and they're absolutely crazy, and he's just an amazing deer. We named him Knothead, and then we switched it to Bruiser because he was such a big guy, but I'm thinking Knothead fits even more. It's all those points. I've never seen anything like that. Beautiful chocolate rack. So super excited here in Bracken County, Kentucky, and we shot him about 8 o'clock this morning. My very first day out hunting. So looks like my buck's out of the way for Kentucky, and I have a couple more doe tags, so I'm going to try a tree stand hunt this year and get my does from a tree stand.
I'm trying to gather myself together and do what we need to do, because once you make the kill, then the work starts. I mean, it's a lot of work getting that animal gutted and getting it out of the woods and hung and getting all the meat off. I mean, the work is just starting. So we've got a whole day and night completely full of cleaning and working. But first, I need a parade. First part of the parade is I'm learning to drive a four-wheeler. I have a side-by-side, so I've never driven a four-wheeler with gears and all that good stuff. So I want to take my deer out myself, and that's the initial part of the parade. Then I decide I got to ride in the back because I want to do the whole pageant wave. I don't know if y'all knew me in those days, but you know, it was a part of my life a long time ago. So I'm parading through Bracken County with this deer doing my pageant wave so everybody can see it. This is my pageant wave from back in the day, and this is the parade for when you win.
I guess I got to be the chauffeur.
You're the chauffeur.
Well, okay.
We get back in from the hunt, and now it's time to clean him and get him all processed and do one of my favorite things ever. I'd never ever ate the heart of a deer before, and I let him talk me into eating it. And since this was Knothead and such an amazing kill and such a great experience, I was like, okay, I agreed to eat the heart. And y'all, that was the best thing ever. The texture was a little strange, but it reminded me of liver, and I like liver, so I ate it, and it was absolutely fantastic. So another first, a big highlight was getting to eat the heart, and now that's one of the first things I take out when I kill an animal, because I realize just how tasty that really is.
My first time eating deer heart. And I'm guessing a 16-pointer is the best time to do it.
So this hunt was absolutely amazing. Everything worked out perfectly. We've got tons of meat to put in the freezer. I've got a beautiful rack that I'm taking to the taxidermist, and it's going on my wall. It's feeding my family. The experience was unlike no other. I will cherish it forever.
Hey girls! I hope all you guys had success this morning, but I'm just showing you what I got. Just a little bit of it. Now you want to see it all? Look at him! We thought he was 15 points. Bo helped me this morning get this big buck, but he's 16 points, and we got him straight out of the blind about 8 o'clock this morning. I'm still in overdrive a little bit. My heart is pounding, and I have never ever dropped a deer, and this one dropped right in front of us. No tracking hardly at all, and we actually shot him twice because we don't like to see him struggle, so we went ahead and put another arrow in him so he would die a little faster. So I just wanted to share that with my wildlife women. Take care, girls. I'll show you more pictures later.
This hunt worked out perfect. I will cherish these memories forever. From patterning this deer in the beginning to eating its heart to taking it to a taxidermist, everything was just absolutely amazing. I'm very thankful for this experience. I can only hope and pray that something will even compare in the future, and I just can't wait for y'all to see it on the wall. Knothead is home. That's perfect. Boop.
He's looking right at you over here. I can look at him while I watch TV and look at my elk skin. It's perfect.
Here's normal internet speed. Here's the broadband difference. Average speed, broadband. Not enough speed, broadband speed. With broadband from Thacker Grigsby Communications, everything's different. Video streams with no buffering, music and photos fly, gaming gets real, and nobody's left hanging. Experience the broadband difference. Contact Thacker Grigsby Communications and TVS Cable today.
Deer season 2017 unfortunately was not a huge success by my standards at all. I was able to harvest a couple of deer throughout the season, but I got my heart set on this particular buck on one of our farms. I ended up passing on 5 other bucks with the hopes that I was going to be able to harvest this one deer that I had my heart set on. He had been a nocturnal buck for the majority of the season. I did get some daytime shots late November of him, and I was really looking forward to a late season muzzleloader that I was going to get to bring this big guy home. This deer had me so torn up even after season had ended. I showed his picture all through the deer-pression season. And if you don't know, deer-pression is what happens when deer season ends and you can't deer hunt anymore. The good news is we got pictures of that big guy after season was over on trail cameras. I showed him to a couple of guides that I'd met, and they aged him at only 2.5. So it may have been a good thing that I didn't have a shot opportunity on him, because now he's got a whole nother year to grow, maybe another year if I get lucky enough to see him again. Bow season of 2017 was a struggle from day one. It was unseasonably hot. It was so hard to go into your bow stand and keep your scent control in check. I was sweating from the time I got out of my vehicle until I got back in my vehicle. So even though I wouldn't consider deer season 2017 a success, I did have some amazing experiences in the deer woods. One of the first ones that I encountered was a hummingbird. During early archery season, I'm sitting in my tree stand. I've got my pink Matthews Passion hanging from my bow hanger. And all of a sudden, this tiny little hummingbird just comes in within inches of my face, and he's just flying all over my bow and almost lands on my arrow at one point, and it was so cool to be that close to a hummingbird. The only thing that I could reason is that my pink bow must have had him thinking it was something to eat. My favorite experience by far deer season 17 was late muzzleloading. I was going into my spot, it's freezing cold, and I realized the wind's all wrong for this set. I don't really have a choice to turn back because I've already committed to this particular farm. So I decide that my best bet is going to be to hunt high on the ridge and hunt on this particular logging road that we've got. My deer setup is actually on back down that logging road, but I knew if I got up on that ridge, I could still see the same area pretty clearly. So I don't usually hunt on the ground, but this change in weather forced me to hunt on the ground this particular day. So I'm sitting there, I'm all tucked in this big oak tree, and all of a sudden, from up behind me, I hear that sound that every deer hunter wants to hear. And it's leaves, and they're moving fast, and it's too loud to be a chipmunk, way too loud to be a gray squirrel, and that can only mean one thing. It's deer. So the sound's coming from behind me, which kind of freaks me out because the wind is still not in my favor at this point. So I'm sitting there, and the only thing I have is my cell phone in my hands. So what does a girl to do but turn on the selfie camera? So I turn on my selfie camera, and I slowly turn my phone around behind me, and sure enough, there's two young does coming up over that ridge line full speed. I don't know what to do at this point. I've never experienced deer, one, me on the ground, and two, this up close and personal. So as they come in, I'm just kind of moving like a sloth with this selfie camera. I can't zoom in to see what they are or get any closer because it's on selfie camera. And I'm just turning around, and when I say I thought these deer were going to come sit in my lap. So I'm stuck between doe 1 and doe 2. Doe 1 is 5 feet away from me, and doe 2 maybe 7 at the most. And something spooks doe 1, and she jumps towards me, and you can literally, she's so close you can see my gun barrel. What just happened? Like, did that really just happen? Was I really that close to that deer? Me sitting on the ground, like, she almost knocked my gun off my shooting sticks. I can't believe I was that close to deer in the deer woods during muzzleloading season. I'm still afraid to move. They're still within feet from me. and I hear a familiar sound coming from the same direction they did. And I think, oh man, this is surely going to be a world record buck. But it wasn't. He was just as young as the does were. You could barely see his little buttons on his head. But this experience, whether or not I harvested an animal, will go down in my Deer Woods record books. I've never experienced anything like that in my 14 years of hunting. The actual experience is so much more than the harvest once you've been hunting for a while. It's more than dragging out a Boone and Crockett. It's more than getting your name in the Pope and Young book. It's about the total experience of being in the woods, being in the deer's bubble, and going home a little bit better hunter than you were when you walked in. Again, deer season 17, not my best deer season. But I did use my time in the woods this year for something other than harvesting animals. I used my time in the tree stand this year to focus on making myself a better hunter. When I would be in the stand and I had deer come in that I knew I wasn't going to shoot, I would think to myself, okay, think about your breathing right now. Learn to control that breathing, kind of try to lessen the anxiety once the deer come in. I'd also practice things when I was bow hunting, like when's the appropriate time to reach for my bow? When should I stand up? At what point should I draw my bow if this deer is a shooter? I feel like I grew as a hunter. I start thinking about next year's deer season the day that this year's deer season ends. What do I love about deer season? I love everything about deer season. I love the preparation before season comes in. I love the work that you have to put in to get your hunting spots ready, to hang your deer stands, to clear your trails into your deer stands. I love getting up early in the mornings, which that's the only time I love getting up early in the mornings is deer season. But I love getting up early in the morning, being in my tree stand when the whole world wakes up and the birds start chirping and the ground squirrels start making all that noise that they make. I love sitting in a tree stand for 13 hours and just being outside, and I love everything about deer season. One thing that I love about deer hunting is the time that it gives me away from all of my real world responsibilities. There's nobody asking me to fix them something to eat. There's nobody asking where their one particular shirt is that's not been washed and dried and folded and put away yet. Every now and then you can sneak in a pretty decent nap in the deer woods. So it's kind of like that break that I need to just kind of find my happy place and reset everything that's stressing me out and take some time just for me. One of the most important things in getting ready for deer season is picking your spot. There's certain things that you want to look for when you go into the woods, where you're going to hang your tree stand or set up your deer blind at. You want to look for natural food sources. You want to look for a source of water. And one of the greatest things that you can find on your property is a well-worn deer trail. When I find a good deer trail, one of the first things that I like to do is set up a spy point trail camera on that trail. That gives me an idea of what direction the deer are moving in, what kind of deer are in that area, and whether I need to move further up or down that trail for my stand location. Once I find that sweet spot, the spot where I know my stand's going to be just right at, where the wind is blowing the right direction all the time, then I'm going to put up my deer feeders. So after my feeder's set up, I'm getting good pictures on my camera, then I'm going to find that perfect tree that's going to hold my deer stand for the season. So once the deer stands are hung, that's when the waiting begins. So usually I like to have my stands hung by the first part of August. Archery season opens in Kentucky usually the first weekend of September. So you want to have everything set and ready and leave it up enough time that any scent that you may have tracked in is going to die down, and you can really start seeing what kind of movement you're getting in that area. It's always exciting for me to go and check trail cameras. Maybe even more exciting than deer hunting is going and getting that little SD card out of my trail cameras and coming home and popping it in my computer, because you really never know what's going to be on those. You could have raccoons, you could have bears, or you could have the buck of a lifetime. So one of the tactics that I use to bring deer into a specific area that I'm hunting is I like to put out a food plot. This is kind of hard to do when you're hunting in eastern Kentucky, and that's because you don't always have access to bring in tillers and tractors and things of that nature. So a lot of my food plot planting is actually done by hand with very simple primitive tools, rakes, mattocks, shovels, and things of that nature.
All right, so it's late on a Sunday afternoon. Ooh, and I am going to plant a food plot. So, I got my Racology seed, Racology fertilizer, and Racology attractant, my Thermacell, because I don't want to be eat up with bugs, my Spy Point trail camera, and some water because it's hot. Every time I park in this spot, people automatically like drive down the road. So I don't know if they like can see me from in. I don't know about that. Alright. So I obviously need a bigger pack because I've outgrown mine. And good thing my Spy Point cameras are compact and they'll fit in here. Yeah, boy. Now, the funny thing is I gotta pack these 2 rakes because I didn't bring my side by side. Oh. Fun times, fun times. I should not put things like that. Go ahead and start this Thermacell. Oh, yeah. Now we cooking. Oh my god, this backpack's so heavy. Awesome. Well, this will get me out of going to the gym for a while. Oh. All right, let's hit the hills. So, this hill, it's much easier to climb without seed fertilizer, mineral, 2 rakes. Can you see my rakes through my backpack? Whew. Guess I need to do more cardio before season starts. Well, I made it to the top of the hill. I just realized in eastern Kentucky, people may think I'm going to check my pot plants. I mean, I'm dressed in camo with rakes and a backpack. But my thermocel's on my back, not on my face, and I really need it in front of my face. I can't believe how much this spot has changed since the last time I hunted it, which was probably rifle season, I guess, so November of last year. Everything's grown up, new trees have fallen, new trees have grown. So I'm probably gonna have my work cut out for me trying to get this seed in the ground with hand tools, but given the circumstances, it's really my only choice. So I've never done things the easy way anyway, so here we go. This is gonna take a while. I know, in the world we live in, y'all might think this is like an act. This is so not an act. I'm literally in the head of a holler by myself, clearing ground with rakes in my bare hands. But the beauty of this is, when I harvest an animal off of this food plot, like, I'm gonna know I did this, like I helped this happen. So as tiresome and as hard a work as it is, like, my thermocell, like, I need to wear it around my neck so bad. It went out again. No wonder these little, and we're back. Anyway, the deer trail's pretty solid over here. Still, even from last year, so. I got a lot of work to do.
This year I put out a Rackology food plot in an area that I've been bow hunting now for 2 years.
So I just realized it's 8:30. That's all that I've got cleared, which I feel like is pretty good, especially since I've been on my hands and knees pulling weeds. So I'm gonna go ahead, put my seed out, spread some fertilizer over it, and cover it up. It's supposed to rain. My God, it is so hot out here right now. Like, I can't, my ponytail is even like sticking in my face. It's so hot. So I'm gonna do that. This bag is supposed to cover 1/4 of an acre. Obviously that's not 1/4 of an acre, but I am gonna seed it pretty heavy, just because I anticipate, oh my gosh, a lot of critters in here digging it. Oh my Lord, Jason, I'm sorry. Like, I know you gave me very good instructions on how to plant this seed, but if I waited on like the equipment that I need to like really do it, then it may not get in the ground in time, and I gotta get this stuff in the ground. Okay, so I got my little food plot planted. Now I'm gonna set up a camera on some Rackology mineral attractant, and then I'm out of here. It's gonna be dark in about half an hour, and I don't have a flashlight because I forgot it. So I gotta get out of here before it gets too dark, because I don't like to be in the hills without a flashlight at dark. Okay, so my feeder still had corn in it from last deer season. So I just dumped that out onto the ground. And now I'm gonna put this sweet Smelling ecology. It really does smell that good, y'all. I ain't even lying. I always put my minerals on that log, and every year they like dig a hole around it. So yeah, I'm gonna get this camera turned on and get out of here. So made it down off the mountain. This is also the first hiking other than turkey hunting and that kind of terrain that I've done since I broke my leg. So that's gonna feel good in the morning, but I got the work that I set out to do done, and I've got my Spy Point trail camera set up on it so that I'm out there myself. I had to move it to the front. I got what I set out to do done. May not be the best way. Hopefully it's an effective way. Got my trail camera set up on it so I can see how it grows and see how the deer tear that Recology mineral up. So yeah, it's been a productive day.
I've had a lot of success at this particular property, lots of deer action all the time. Maybe not always shooters, but you never go home on a dry run at this particular location.
Well, it's been 2 weeks since I put out my Recology food plot, and I am going to go check my Spy Point camera and change SD cards and see how we're growing. That hill gets me every time. I just got to where I can see where I put my seed out, and it's coming up beautiful. That almost makes me a little bit emotional because I put so much work into it, and it's always nice to see your hard work pay off. I can't wait to show you guys. This is so awesome. I love it. I love this so much. So that's where the mineral was and all that corn. And look at my food plot. Look how it's coming up. I'm so proud of this. Look at it. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Look at that. All new growth. Oh my gosh. That's beautiful. So my food plot is growing better than I could have even expected in just 2 weeks. I refreshed my mineral site, got a new camera in my card, and now I'm getting out of here. You never want to stay here too long. I'm so unbelievably proud of how my little food plot is growing. Like, I will not be able to wipe this possum grin off my face all day long. I'll be honest, I was a little worried just because I didn't have the proper tools to get the seed far enough down in the ground. And I've already picked ticks off of me, even with tick spray. Ugh. But I'm more than thrilled with how that spot's coming along. 2,575 pictures on my trail cam SD card. Cannot wait to see what's on that card.
The truth is, deer season never ends. It's ongoing all throughout the year. We're always taking more information, learning from it, adding new things to our plan just to get ready for the next season. Unfortunately, Wildlife Women Season 1 is coming to an end. And if you want to see if my hard work pays off, tune in to Season 2.
that morning.
No, she was with us because we talked about how watching everything wake up was really cool.
That was neat because that wasn't the morning the deer farted. That was my second hunt. Because that was, okay. That was the second time I went up there. It really farted, Josh, I promise. The deer did.
It was a bug that probably grunted and we totally missed it.
It was something. It was something anyways. It's not.
We'll save that fart for the second time you came up.
Okay. It was the second time.
Okay. Oh, that light's right. Look at that one.
Gosh.
Look at that one.
Not look at the light.
Well, you told me to look at
like
it.
your face.
I can't tell if it looks good or not. I'm gonna try this way. I'm trying to get the green without that light. How you hold it, cause that light puts. Still putting a shadow, ain't it? Let's get back here. He's getting a bit of us doing that on film.
You know I thought we were going to blooper.
Everything worked perfect on this duck hunt.